This Minecraft video has 7.1 million views. It was uploaded by Rekrap, one of the biggest Minecraft YouTubers on the planet, and this is part 2 of the Melon series, his most successful series ever. I've analyzed over 100 viral Minecraft videos, and I can confidently say that this video's intro is the best I've ever watched. If you're a small creator, take out your notepad and pen and listen carefully. Rek's use of camera angles, music, and script writing are brilliant, and I can promise you that this video will make you a 10 times better storyteller. The most important factor affecting a video's view count isn't actually the content itself, but the title and thumbnail. Rek presents us with a super simple and easy to understand concept. There's only really 2 themes here, melons and scale. 10 million is a big number, and big numbers are amazing at drawing your attention in titles because they stand out so well against the surrounding words. But when we see a number that big in a title, we're subconsciously wired to not believe it, because as humans, our brains are literally incapable of processing numbers that large. It's like trying to imagine every grain of sand on a beach. Our minds can't do it, and so instead of understanding the scale, we feel it. And Rek makes us feel the scale of that number in the thumbnail. Melons extend to almost 80% of the image, but that's the point. It's designed to be an overwhelming amount of melons so that you believe the title. And if you think about a challenge of that scale, to pull it off, we know that Rek would have to almost become obsessed with farming melons. He'd likely have to plan for months, do endless research, and calculate the most genius ways to farm more. And this thumbnail represents that obsession. It tells the story of someone who's literally been consumed by melons, and that's what sells it. Now he has to continue this tone of obsession into the hook. But how does he manage to create so much impact in such little time? Let's break this down shot by shot. Before we even get any visual clues, Rek uses this camera movement, which briefly withholds information about the first scene. This builds anticipation around what he's about to show us, and makes us lean in a little bit more to pay attention. But the real star here is the riser sound effect that he uses. Even before the first shot is revealed, we get this powerful sense of tension about what the first shot is going to show us. And Rek doesn't disappoint. The 3 shots that we're about to see, paired with the voice lines and sound design, create the best hook I've ever seen on YouTube. In shot 1, we see an aerial view of a huge melon farm.
4 months ago, I spent 100 days.
This is the perfect first shot because it directly correlates to the themes of the thumbnail and title. We get an immediate sense of the scale of the project, and the fact that he's still going after 4 months. Rek is clearly taking this challenge seriously. In the next shot, we get closer to Rek and we see what he's doing. And in the shot after that, we're now fully immersed in his POV. This 3-shot progression that starts at distance and gets closer brings us into Rek's perspective as the protagonist, and starts to create that personal connection that Rek now nails with the voice lines.
4 months ago, I spent 100 days farming melons in Minecraft, desperately trying to harvest 1 million before time ran out.
The first line that he says here isn't really that interesting, but it provides some context as we get closer to Rek. But the next line and shot pairing are brilliant. As soon as we enter Rek's POV, we get the word
desperately.
Desperation is such a powerful emotion in storytelling because it immediately raises the stakes. We already get the sense that Rek's about to tell us something heartbreaking, and it makes our hearts sink even before he tells us what happens. And the fact that we're now in his POV makes this 10 times more impactful, and we can feel the power of that desperation keeping him going. This next shot follows that pattern. Rek's now in front of us with the camera chasing after him. Once again, this ties in directly to what he's saying. He immediately adds to the stakes by reminding us of the time limit and how tight things are getting.
Trying to harvest 1 million before time ran out, but I fell short by 9,000.
It subconsciously feels that time in the form of Rek is running away from us. A brilliant visual metaphor that makes the time pressure feel real, but it doesn't stop there. Rek emphasizes the loss by telling us how close he was to success.
But I fell short by 9,000, an amount that would have taken 4 more minutes.
And now we get the heartbreak. The sun sets and the time runs out. The camera pans to Rek, motionless, and we see the transition from regular lighting to shaders. The shaders make the scene feel dark and lifeless, which mirrors the emotional change from determination to defeat. What was once alive now feels heavy and still. The camera angle looks down on Rek, shrinking him in the frame and making him appear small and fragile. 4 minutes, just 4 minutes. The margin seems tiny after 100 days of hard work, but we can see the life drained from the scene. The defeat is still defeat, no matter how small the gap. But then, right as we hit rock bottom and our hearts have sank, Rek gives us a glimmer of hope with a single word.
But today,
But. And what follows is a beautiful visual contrast. Firstly, the camera angle shifts from high to low, now looking up at Rek. This change signifies the emotional shift from defeated to once again hopeful. And the lighting from the shaders almost act as a halo, symbolizing Rek's renewed sense of purpose. But the music track Rek chooses for the sequence is the icing on the cake. The strings are sharp and perfectly match the sense of urgency in the opening shots. We feel the pressure building with every note. But as soon as we enter Rek's POV and we hear the word
desperately,
everything changes. A new legato string melody fades in, soothing out the chaos and slowing down the pace, which shifts the energy from action to emotion. Then, right as he says,
but today, I redeem myself by farming not 1, but 10 million.
We hear the tonal shift again. The melody rises, brighter and more open, as if hope is literally being reintroduced into the landscape. The chords resolve upwards, creating this sense of lift that perfectly complements the visual change in lighting and the camera angle, making the moment feel earned. But then how does he transition from this intro into the video?
Farming not 1, but 10 million. Yo, you realize that's 10 times the amount.
He interrupts himself and breaks the immersion. He then explains how exactly he's going to beat the challenge, and then he wastes no time getting into the video. And that's the secret sauce. Rek doesn't just make a video about farming melons. He turns it into a narrative about human persistence and passion. Every sound, every shot, every line of dialogue is intentional and builds towards that feeling. And that's why we can't click off. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a subscribe if you found that useful, and we'll see you in the next one.